everybody, my name is Miranda and today I'm here to discuss episode 2 and 3 of Never Stop Blowing Up from Dimension 20. I decided to combine these episodes for a couple reasons. I was behind on watching episode 2, so I thought I would just combine it with episode 3. But also the main thing was that episode 2, as an anxious person, made me extremely nervous. I feel like everyone just has those things that affect them more watching it on stuff, and for me, the amount of times they almost got caught when they were as their new characters, especially the ones that were in very precarious situations, which I guess now that I think about, they all were in precarious situations, but Kingskin, Jennifer Drips, I was just very stressed for a lot of it, and there is a lot of comedy in that idea of you're not who this person thinks you are, but also you just woke up in this body, so you're trying to think of things very quickly on the fly. I think makes it very funny, but also very, very stress-inducing for me. So I was like, I gotta have something to talk about other than just how anxious I was throughout the episode. Episode 2, like I said, was kind of getting the full introduction into the video characters, realizing that they are now in a movie world, and kind of them each waking up in the part that they were in and then coming together at the end. I really was excited to see them come together because that was kind of my main thing of they were all so spread out in different areas, even though Brennan was doing a very good job that you could see kind of the connections between them in Kingskin was looking for Izzy's character, and then Vic showed up at the club and we found out even more connections between what they're all kind of involved in episode 3. I really like that they decided to go with some of these characters are good, some of them are bad, and then I feel like some of them are neutral or we don't know yet. I feel like it's hard to get a read on G13 of who exactly they're working for. They thought they were working for the government because they got caught or whatever, but to me, it's more like they're working for someone who's working against the government that is undercover. I know Allie had said oh, this person's deep undercover, the agent that they were talking about, Haldwell, but I think it's actually the opposite of they do work for the government, but then they're also working against it, and that was why they were don't call this line when G13 called the actual agent line. I also think there was a lot of cool stuff, just seeing how Kingskin technically, I guess Empresario is the main big bad we've had so far, aside from maybe Haldwell. I don't know how everyone connects, but it seems it is kind of going to be this bigger, more interconnected thing, so that's why I don't know if Haldwell's calling the shots or if it is Empresario at the top of all this, since he is connected to so many people and so many things that we've seen. I think the biggest thing so far is Empresario, and then also the war chemicals factory or whatever that Jennifer Drips was in. We've gotten some callbacks to that with Haldwell being connected to that, and then also the stuff that G13 had with all the passwords and codes for everything. So yeah, I really liked episode 2 as much as it stressed me out because I just liked getting to see them. I think they're doing a fantastic job, the players, of playing these characters who are waking up in other characters' bodies, and I just think they're doing a really good job of selling that and how confused you are, but also the various reactions to that. I mean, how Izzy's was just make out with the hot guy that she is now, how Kingskin is kind of trying to figure out what's going on, how G13 is my absolute favorite because Usha, as someone who is just so technologically challenged, being the hacker is so funny to me. And I also really love, and I've seen people talking about this on Tumblr and stuff, of how Reika is playing Usha, because it's Usha's not dumb. She just doesn't know technology, which is a big part of this world today, but that doesn't mean she's dumb. In fact, she's kind of chosen not to know it, so in a way, it's her own thing. But she can use context clues, and she's very smart in figuring that stuff out. So I love seeing her figuring out the password by seeing what fingers were most greasy, because she knows that from her grandkids and how they use their computers and stuff. And I just think her character in particular is going to be one that's really, really fun to see develop and grow, and see Usha kind of become more confident, as we saw in episode 3 when she was able to shut down the elevator. I think that was a really smart decision, but then also when she was able to power it back up and get everyone out of the blood-soaked elevator was just really impressive. And also to see Usha's reaction of yeah, I did something good technology-wise, and I should be rewarded for this, I think was just really sweet. And I love the dynamics of the characters so much, and I love how now that they're together as their movie counterparts, you're still seeing that dynamic of who they are in the real world come in. We saw Vic. Iffy as Vic is just all the awards, please. I think he's doing such a good job with it, but I also just love how he's still incorporating the idea that Wendell has a crush on Liv, even though Liv is now this like massive hulking crime boss. He's still like, you're perfect, and like just like when she compliments him, he gets all like giggly and stuff. It's really, really cute because it's fun to see those ideas and like how he was protecting her when Donna was going kind of after her. I did also love when Donna was like, oh, are you gonna buy that shirt? And like just making those callbacks to the real world, because it's kind of like in a way like it's that thing where it's like we don't have time for this, right? Like the pettiness of like the outside world, like we got to figure out what's going on here and how to get out and get back. But it's also human nature that stuff's not just gonna go away and you're just gonna be able to like roll with it, right? It's like, yes, there are bigger fish to fry, but these are also important to us, so they're still gonna pop up, especially in moments of tension like that. Episode 3 really, if episode 2 was like stressing me out on the edge of my couch, episode 3 reached out and was like, I got you, babe, don't worry. Episode 3 has to go down as one of my favorite Dimension 20 episodes ever. I love, love, love when they walk that very thin line between almost towing into something being so hysterical that it's ridiculous, that you're like, this can't happen. No, like this is just too far. And they are always so good about going right up to that line where you could see yourself being like, oh, this is like too far or something. And they always hold it back. There were so many in episode 3. The elevator scene in particular, highlight for me of just picturing like the majority of this battle being covered in blood, all the people and the elevator, and them just having to go about their day kind of afterwards and like try and figure out everything in the hotel. Like it does definitely have like movie logic in a way where it's like everyone's kind of not paying attention to that or something like that, but the whole elevator scene and seeing them kind of like, especially Jack, or should I say Jeff Manhattan, come into like realizing, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that, but like accidentally doing it, and them all kind of starting to realize like their powers that they can do and how they can exist in this world was really, really cool. I also love seeing La Familia in action. After Adventuring Party, that was really sweet to see like how they decided to split up everything and who was gonna take what. So seeing that like in action, I think makes a lot of sense to character-wise, like who was jumping in front of who was like helping out with other things. Like it was just really great to see and really, really funny. I feel like the animations that they're adding in also really, really sell it, because whoever decided to put Jennifer Drips in the I Love My Slut Dad crop top covered in blood deserves the raise. And then Brennan also like was like, you guys think you're gonna like outfund me? No, I see your bloody elevator and I raise you 30 backflipping 30-year-olds and one 80-year-old disguised as a 30-year-old. That entire sequence in the gift shop, I could watch that on repeat for days and days and days. And just the cut from like Dang being like almost killed and Russell having to save him from these assassins upstairs in the hotel, to the rest of them down in the hotel room haggling about these shirts. I lost it when Reika as G13 was like, do you have a kid's long? Like, and then Brennan's face was like, a kid's long? Like, I just felt represented by every customer service like worker I think was represented in that scene, with Brennan being like, these are the shirts we have. It's crazy that a hotel even needs to sell shirts. And then Reika just being like, what if you lost your luggage? Like, it was just, everyone was so on it and it was so funny. And Izzy just completely losing it. The grenade scene with Izzy where she was like, I'm gonna throw a grenade and see if I can knock out these people. And then Brennan rolling a nat 20 and being like, so you have to roll, what was it, like a 68 to beat them? And if you fail by 5 or more, which is like a 63, something really bad is gonna happen. Like, that whole scene of Jack Manhattan throwing a grenade as it's still in his hand, instantly regretting it and be like, no, 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 and then Kingston having to jump in and just close it in his hand, and that forcefulness and just like awe of like someone catching a grenade in their hand and shrugging it off being what inspired these like 30 backflippers to like join their cause, even though who knows how good they will be. Mark my words, they're coming back, okay? We are like, they're gonna send out the bat signal. It'll be like someone backflipping in the air when they really need like backup or allies or something, and those backflippers are gonna backflip their way into the scene, and I absolutely cannot wait. It was just so, so funny. I know Brennan said like, this is the episode earlier, like you realize like there is no alley that he won't chase them down, I think is what he said. So it's like, you want to be ridiculous, I'll see you and I'll meet you down there. And I just think it was so like, this is an episode I'm going to return to when I like need a laugh, because just the amount of ridiculousness that happened and the way they sold it and played off of it was astounding to me. I also saw someone point out that this is another season, much like Starstruck Odyssey, where we're getting a Sensible Beardly season. And that is so funny to me, because Allie being the one that's like, guys, let's put this plot connection together, and like Reika being the one, well, we all knew Reika was gonna be the one. When she asked if she could like touch the guy's neck to calm him down from beating Jennifer Drips, and she's like, and this isn't even gonna be my dumb question of the season, Brennan, it reminded me instantly even more of why I love Reika and why she needs to be at more D&D tables. Honestly, I think it was just so funny. And then I also have to give it up to Jacob, like really bringing in the emotional part of this, where like everything's going on and he still plays it that Dang is, you know, upset that people aren't believing in Rashab, and kind of I also loved like Allie as Russell was like, when he's like, you don't believe in Rashab, and it was kind of off to the side, so no one really picked up on it, but Allie was like, as Russell was like, you know I don't, but I respect it. And I just love their relationship. But I feel like for Jacob as a new player to feel that comfortable being like, hey, I'm gonna take the spotlight for a second and show like this vulnerability to Dang, especially since Dang overall, maybe coupled with Vic, but I still think Vic has had some kind of moments where he's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? I think Dang overall has had the best adjustment kind of, and it also does make sense if for him he's just like, oh yeah, this is Rashad. Like, you know, there's not like much to think about for him and adjust to, but I feel like he's had the most success in things. For him to be like, you know, hurt about something that's occurring in the real world-ish, being like, hey, my friends and my family don't believe in this thing that I believe in, I thought was just a really nice moment for him to be like, you know, like, I am feeling hurt right now, and it was just very vulnerable, and like made you, I feel like, feel for that character even more. And I loved too Paula being like, do you want a t-shirt? Anytime Izzy breaks out the like Midwestern accent, I absolutely lose it. She was struggling this episode, okay? Like, Jack Manhattan, he's getting divorced, she's getting divorced again in this world, and it's just not great. She wants to get back with his wife, but also somehow hook up with the like hot detective or something. Honestly, but it's just, it's so good, and they're just so funny, and it's so sweet how they all work together and all love each other, and how you can see that through like their counterparts in like who they are at the video game store, and how they're protecting each other and congratulating each other, and, you know, looking out for each other in this world. And I think that's like one of the most beautiful things to see. As like bananas as this episode was, I just loved it so much, because you literally, like, it was one that could have gone on for 5 more hours and I would have been enthralled, even though they had to call it, because I think Izzy would have literally given birth if they had not. So I get why they did. Next episode, though, we are going to a Long Beach, Izzy is in my head of getting everything wrong, but Long Beach 5000, where I guess the goal of the race is to hit 5,000 miles per hour, which seems absurd and super dangerous, but on point for everything else we've known about. I'm very curious if like we're gonna get kind of like specific plot or like battle scenes-ish. I know it's not technically a battle scene because it's not 5e, but like for each character, like what you would expect for them, because obviously the race is very Vic Ethanol's thing. The elevator scene originally, when it first happened at the end of episode 2, was giving me Captain America Winter Soldier vibes when he's stuck in there, but it was for Jack Manhattan, so I also don't know the Die Hard movies too well, especially like the other ones, so I don't know if there was like an elevator scene in that, but I just wonder if there's gonna be like a specific callback to every character and like a specific kind of not stereotypical, but just like the fight you think of when you think of them, right? So I'm just really excited. I think it's going to be really fun, and now that they're together and they've got more of the powers that they're able to. The one thing that does worry me about this mechanic that they're using is the healing thing, how they can't heal very easily, and how they kind of got to find like a doctor or a hospital or something, because I don't know how much Brennan will play into like there's people on the streets looking out for you or stuff like that, you know, and how much they have to hide. But I feel like that could get tricky, because it's like, oh, if you're wanted, like you can't, like Kingston can't just go to a hospital, right? Like they're going to have to find like some kind of back thing. They do have Doug Meets now on their side, so maybe Doug will prevail and be the hero of the day. But I do feel like, who was it that was like, that dude's going to die? And I was like, no, not my Meets. So I just really love it. It's only episode 3, to quote Alex when they were like, if this is episode 3, what is the energy going to be like for episode 10? I got no idea, but I am so in love with it, and just, in love with episode 3. Episode 2 was good, I liked it, but episode 3 again, top top 3 easy for me of any Dimension 20 season. So yeah, if you have seen the 2 episodes, let me know what you thought about them down below in the comments and what your favorite parts were, which characters you're really gravitating towards and loving, or dynamics you're loving and stuff like that. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!